Hey guys, in today's video I'm showing you 3 tips and 4 different techniques of blending OIL pastels. And if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. So most of you have been asking which OIL pastels I use. I use Pentel Arts OIL pastels. This is the product description. According to me, they're actually a very good type of OIL pastels. Okay, so tip number 1, always start with a dark color. The aim of blending is to achieve a smooth transition from dark to light, so that's why we are starting with red, vermilion, orange, and then chrome yellow. So there might be exceptions where I have to start with a light pastel. Generally speaking, start with a dark. So as you can see, you won't get a smooth transition from dark to light once you start with the light color. So always start with a dark color. Tip number 2, overlap the colors. By overlap the colors, I mean do not blend the OIL pastels in separate sections. You need to blend them very well using one of the techniques that you will see as you continue watching this video. So if you do not overlap the colors, you're not going to have a good and smooth tone from dark to light. Tip number 3, apply enough pressure. If you do not use pressure, you will not fill the paper and your work will have spaces. Bonus tip, keep your OIL pastels clean. Okay, so now that you have the tips, let's go through the techniques. I am starting with blending with tissue. Now we are going to use the tissue to blend the colors. Remember, our tip number 2 was overlap the colors, and we are going to do that using the tissue. Okay, so keep in mind that we're using student grade OIL pastels, so I don't recommend the use of tissue to blend your OIL pastels. The use of tissue works best for professional grade OIL pastels. So instead of blending, we end up removing a lot of OIL pastel from the paper using the tissue. The second technique is blending with fingers. Blending with fingers is a good method. However, for student grade OIL pastels, it can be annoying since it needs a lot of pressure, and because of the heat generated due to friction that actually helps us in blending, your fingers can burn. The third technique is pastel on pastel. So I keep reminding you that these are student grade OIL pastels, so this is the most effective method for this type of pastels. As you're blending the 2 different shades, make sure you move the pastel in circular and irregular motion. This will help you blend the 2 colors very well. I'm sure you've noticed that this is the technique I used while going through the tips. This is my best method because it brings a very smooth transition from dark to light. Finally, the last technique I'm talking about today is stippling. This is a technique that I've never used before in any of my OIL pastel drawings, and it is very time consuming.
A few minutes later. A little longer than a few minutes later.
Though all that time taken is worth it. I have seen very beautiful artworks that are drawn using this technique. So there are other techniques like using a blending stamp and using an oil pastel solvent. Those are also very good techniques of blending oil pastels.